So, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Homeschooling Philippines. I hope everyone is safe. Even if we are allowed to go out of our house, we should continue to practice social distancing and take care of our health. Welcome to the month of June. Grabe, June na agad, no? This is one of my favorite months because June is our wedding anniversary. I have been married for 19 years to my ex-boyfriend, and usually we do travel, but because of our situation, we'll just do a virtual tour this time. Okay, enough of me. How are you? Kamusta ang pasok ng June sa inyong pamilya, no? Ang bilis talaga ng panahon, kalahating taon na. Now, if you notice, you will see a lot of information about homeschooling in your newsfeed. And because of the pandemic, a lot of families have suddenly become interested in homeschooling. In one of the seminar that I facilitated, there were more than 500 parents who joined the homeschool orientation. Our goal here in Homeschooling Philippines is to help the families, especially the new ones. We wanted to share our experiences and hopefully we're able to help you in your homeschooling journey. And as I mentioned in my previous video, Homeschooling Philippines would like to show you how our teens are thriving in homeschooling setup. So today, we are very fortunate to have with us a talented lady who will share her homeschooling journey, her reasons why she decided to homeschool, and mainly we will discuss how did she start homeschooling. Paano ba magsimula, no? A lot of parents are asking me, paano ba talaga? So how to start homeschooling in high school? This is one of the common questions of newbie parents, no? How to start. They have fear since they are not teachers by profession, that they don't understand the lessons anymore, or that their children might be bored when they teach, and a lot of other things, no? This is a valid concern. That's why today we would like to show you how to start homeschooling teens. So friends, let us welcome Andy Perfecto. Yay!
Hello.
Okay, kamusta Andy? How are you?
Good.
Okay,
Social distancing.
that's right. So, can you tell me what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for my family's health and protection from the whole virus thing.
That's right. And where are you located now?
I'm in Carmona, Cavite.
Cavite. Okay. And so for our viewers who have seen you for the first time, can you tell us something about yourself?
Uh, well, I'm Andrea Perfecta, and I was previously homeschooled. Now, for this upcoming school year, I'm going to move into a regular school, and uh, I like to draw.
Okay. And so you homeschooled from what grade level to what grade level?
um, well, I originally started during grade one, but I left and then I came back grade eight and then I continued until grade 10, which
Grade
was the
10.
last year.
Okay. So for senior high school, you decided to go back to traditional school.
Yes.
Okay. And what strand are you taking in senior high?
I'm taking STEM IT.
Damn. Okay. Ooh. And so because of our situation, no, so a lot of cities are still in quarantine or in general quarantine. So what have you been doing during quarantine?
Well, actually, I started off with summer working briefly for my cousin. It's a drawing job. And then because of the whole COVID situation, we had to stop. And so ever since, I've been like practicing drawing na lang, and been learning a lot of new things, techniques and stuff. And of course, on the side, I play video games like every other teenager.
Of course, hindi
Because
mawawala,
it's
no?
summer. It's summer.
That's right. And so you really like drawing. What type of drawing do you usually do? Is it an anime, sceneries, or
um, well, I just draw whatever comes to my mind, and I don't. I used to do traditional like paintings, watercolor, and I used to sketch on my notebook. But because of technology, I've been able to use digital art.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to create digital art, and they some programs have really good brushes. Like they've emulated brushes so well. So it's kind of like some of my drawings look like oil paintings. Some of them
Mm,
look like they were
okay.
printed or something. It's really good. So basically, in digital art is what I'm doing now.
Okay. And when you say digital art, did you enroll in a course, or was it a DIY, or it's like
It
a
was more of a
YouTube?
DIY.
Okay.
Yeah.
Galing.
I learned through just looking at other people's works. It's not really
Mm-hmm.
like copying, but it's more of like learning
Mm-hmm.
and putting your own spin to the technique or the style of drawing that other people have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you mentioned earlier that you started homeschooling grade one, and then you went back to regular school, and then you went again grade eight. So
Yeah.
when you returned during grade eight until grade 10, you were homeschooled. So may we know why did you homeschool? What were your reasons when you
Okay.
went back
Yeah.
to grade eight?
Yeah. I actually I was homeschooled because the previous school that I've been for the past 5 years, I think 6 years, uh the education wasn't good anymore. Like it kind of diminished. So we didn't have any good schools nearby
Okay.
where I live. So our only option was to go back to homeschool, which was okay for me because I already knew how it worked
Mm-hmm.
because of grade one. The only
Mm-hmm.
difference was I had to teach myself instead of mom teach me like back in grade one.
That's right. So it was like a family decision, or it was presented to you by your parents.
Uh, well, it was a family because I actually originally did not want to leave my old school because, of course, I had friends there. But since we all live in the same community, parang it was okay lang rin. But they first of all they presented it to me, and I didn't want to go back to homeschool. But after when we found out about Wednesday class and how I would still be able to meet people, I agreed. I agreed to move na rin.
Okay. So grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. So 3 years, no? So how did
Yep.
you decided to continue with homeschooling? I mean, did you discuss it every year, or was it a plan that you will finish junior high school?
Um, Well, me moving to homeschool wasn't actually like we weren't talking about it like the previous year, but it was like a sudden decision in a way. Like we decided over it like over summer. Um, and well, we decided na lang na I'll finish junior high in homeschool na lang, so I
Okay.
can like there's no more moving and moving and moving.
That's right. That's right. So of course, when you started grade 1 and then went back to traditional school, tapos grade 8, no? So medyo grade 8 is um what is your age at that time? Grade 8, around 12,
um,
13,
I think I was 14.
14, no? Around that
Yeah,
age, no?
I'm 17 now.
So it's already a teenage year. So what are your
Yeah.
fears? What were your fears when you will be going back to homeschool at that time? What were you thinking about it?
Well, my main fear was well, at first it was losing contact of my friends, but again, my friends are like near my house, so like that fear um diminished after a while. And then the next fear I had was not meeting new people because I was kind of interested. If I was going to move, I was kind of interested in meeting new people. And that was my main fear when I first
Okay.
started.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier that when you went back, so it's you. teaching yourself and not mom teaching you because you are already
Yeah.
in grade 8. However, before
Mhm.
we go into the teaching method, so during grade 8, during junior high school, how did you prepare? I mean, did you bought materials just like the other kids in traditional school? They will go to this bookstore to buy their notebooks, and
Well,
prepare for
I I
their.
didn't I didn't have at first I wanted to try to take notes like a normal norm in regular school. But we tossed that idea out of the window because like the books are already there in front of me, and since I was the one giving myself notes, I was like I don't have to write my own words anymore. But I didn't buy any notebooks. um I guess I bought some pencils, but it wasn't as much as in regular school where I had to buy like pencil cases and
That's
a
right.
lot of ball pens and
That's right.
notebooks and everything. It
That's
wasn't a
right.
lot. It was minimized. And
Haha.
as for materials and projects naman, every week starting on the Monday, I would review all of the projects that I needed to finish that needed materials. So within the week, I could buy it before I needed to do the project itself.
Okay.
So it wasn't
So
like
so you only bought a few materials, but what about your study area? I mean, can you describe it? Because a lot of newbie parents wouldn't know how to set up their study area. So for you, how were you able to study?
well, my last study area is actually here. I'm in my room. I'm on my desk, and then like I have my schedule next to me, my books next to me, my books for the day, my laptops in front of me, and my phone for research and projects. So basically, that's my setup. And then, but before we moved to this house, uh, just anywhere. Sometimes I would be in the den or the office downstairs. I would be on my bed sometimes if I was lucky. I would be on the couch. I would be in my dining room, just wherever, wherever I would end up.
Okay. So it doesn't matter what you're saying, wherever you are in your house, as long as you can study and do your research, right?
Well, yeah, but sometimes I guess for other people, I mean, I guess for me as well, it's hard to study when you're on a couch and on a bed because you can get distracted or sleepy. So it's still better to have like at least if you don't have like an office or a desk, at least have like the dining table where you won't feel lazy and tired all the time.
Tama, tama, no. Okay. So let us peek into your schedule. So what was your schedule? Can you give us a sample schedule for a week or
Yeah.
for a day?
Yeah, well, I actually have here my schedules for the week. um, well, I'd always start with major subjects during on Mondays. So first, I would obviously like look through my week's uh, lesson guide,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would always put English, math, and science on the first day. So Monday, English, science, math, and sometimes if I still have time, I'll add like a little bit of minor subjects on my Monday. And then on Tuesday, I would also have math and science. And then Filipino and, well, previously El Filibusterismo. I would add those there. And then Wednesday, I would still have math and a bunch of minor subjects after if I still have time or energy. And then Thursday, that's when the minor subjects, that's where I usually put my minor subjects if I didn't have time for the rest of the week. And then Friday, it's either I don't have anything to do anymore or that's when I finish my projects.
Okay. So usually
Yeah.
how many hours per day do you study? Do you allot for homeschooling?
Well, I actually don't have a fixed time like in regular school with like 7 to 4. That's not what I do. I just finish what I can. But more or less, I'd say I only study around um probably just 5 hours. It depends on how hard the subject is or how much work I have to do.
Okay. So how did you come up with the schedule? I mean, did you discuss it with your parents or they let you decide on it?
They left me to it. I just decided on like what was harder for me and what I really needed to focus on. So like math, I have like math is 3 days a week. I always chop them up. I put 3 days a week. Unlike English, which is only one day because English is a little bit easier for me. Well, depending on the amount of work. And the minor subjects are very easy naman. So that's like relaxed day na. Friday, Thursday. But math is usually like the first things that you need to do.
Okay. So can you describe what was your first day? Because from traditional school, you went back grade 8. So how was your first day? I mean, did your mom had a blackboard where she would teach you the topic just like in a classroom setup? How
Well,
did you
my
do it?
first day, I was actually very nervous because that was my first time not having a teacher in who knows many years. But all I did was sit down and then just read the books and just check off what I've read, I've done. My mom, I don't remember if my mom helped me on my first day, but I think she was there to like, at least supervise, like just to
Mm-hmm.
see if I can study by myself
Mm-hmm.
without
Mm-hmm.
having a hard time. And she was also there to answer some questions that she could answer at the time.
Okay. So here parents know you would see that for junior high school, you don't need to teach them as what a regular teacher does. No, a junior high school student can study on their own, and but sometimes they would need to ask or verify some questions. So it would be best if there would be parents with them so they can
Parents are
answer the question. That's
parents are a
right.
search engine.
That's right. So, of course, there would be difficult subjects. So,
Yes,
what is your difficult subject and what are your strategies?
definitely math. Haven't gotten any better. um, but as I said earlier, my strategy was to study it more each week rather than to like run away from it and do it only one day. I would keep studying until I understood the thing I couldn't understand. But usually, like you can I use like YouTube sometimes when I need to see like the process of how like solutions are made because sometimes the book doesn't provide enough information. So I still need someone to demonstrate to me how it's done.
So, it means that even if you are stuck with a difficult subject or is difficult topic in math, you still find ways so that you would
Yeah.
understand that topic.
Yes.
Okay. And um, other students would get a tutor or they would ask their other relatives to help them with that certain topic. So what about you? Was it only YouTube and online
I
resources?
actually have a relative who's a math teacher. So sometimes, because he's abroad, so if our times align or he's not busy, I sometimes ask him to help me out with the project.
Hmm. Okay. And being a junior high school homeschooling, so what do you think was your biggest struggle?
Oh, well, my biggest struggle was the lack of a teacher present, definitely, because even though like obviously like my school had teachers, my homeschool had teachers, they wouldn't get back to me immediately. Sometimes they wouldn't get back to me at all, and that was really hard and kind of disappointing, and because I kind of wanted to still have someone a professional to help me out because sometimes there are questions that I ask that my mom can't answer, my dad can't answer. Sometimes even YouTube doesn't have the answer or Google doesn't have the answer to my exact question. So it would be nice to have someone real to ask about that. But
Hmm. Hmm.
it wasn't. It was either they were busy or they answer late. Sometimes I've already submitted something that I needed help with.
Mm-hmm.
and then they would answer after.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like uh I have like an email that is still not answered until now. I asked the question like last year. It's still not unanswered. So that was definitely the biggest struggle.
Uh-huh. Okay. So let's say you didn't get an answer from your subject teacher. So how did you deal with it? I mean, how were you able to answer that question in your math book?
Very rarely I actually answer it by myself. I find the answer online sometimes, but like it's kind of rare to find like the answer to my question. Um, you really need to like scour the internet to find the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but sometimes I get the answer wrong, or I just have to guess just to not leave a blank. But yeah, yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying is that in your homeschool, you have a subject teacher for math, uh, but in traditional school, it's like you can ask directly the questions because in homeschool,
Yeah, like
it's an online.
yeah, as they're like explaining what the lesson is, I can ask a question like right there, and they can answer either after or during the lecture. So it's easier
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
communicate. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if you have a question after class, you can just go to the faculty room, or at least that
Mm-hmm.
was my case in my school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could just go to the faculty room and ask them to teach me something that I didn't understand, just so I wouldn't hold up
Mm-hmm.
the class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm, that's something you can't do in homeschool.
That's right. And you mentioned that it's hard to study in a couch. Sometimes your bed uh, would ask you to lay down and be lazy and just
Yeah,
snuggle in your bed. So was it also what do you call it? A struggle in homeschooling?
I wouldn't call it a struggle. It's a struggle for my mom. But yeah, sometimes it's sometimes good, it's sometimes bad, because unless I've already finished all of my work, it's good because I can like rest my eyes after using the computer for too long or reading for too long. But if I'm not done with anything, it's not good.
So how did your mom check on your written works or your performance-based assessment? Was it a daily checking or a weekly thing? How did
It
you
was more of a
present it to your mom?
Yeah, it was more of a weekly thing. She would schedule a certain day within Friday and Sunday, and then she would ask me to bring all my books to her, and then she would check them. And then sometimes actually we'd have um, oral
Exam, oral
not really
examination.
exams. Like some of the assignments given to us, we do
Mm,
it orally
okay.
if the space wasn't enough, or we didn't have uh, like sometimes I find it hard to write something down, so I just tell her the answer, and then sometimes it's okay. It depends on what the assignment is. If it's like an essay, or well, if it's an essay, it's more written. But if it's like a multiple choice thing, I can just tell her what the answer is.
Okay. So what you're saying is it's flexible. I mean, you can do it orally or you can write it down, but if it's an
It's
essay, of
very
course, you have to present the essay. Okay. So pwede
very
pala yun,
flexible.
yeah, pwede pala yun parents, no? If you're homeschooling, then if your son or your daughter is more of don't want to write the answers, then you can do an um oral examination or oral version of the written works, no? So that's good about homeschooling as well. Now, of course, there were many unforgettable experiences you had while homeschooling. Can you tell us what is the biggest or the most unforgettable experience for you? The good and the bad, if you have.
Well, I have a lot of unforgettable experiences, and it's hard to choose only one. But I guess definitely the field trips were fun, because for the first year that I was in homeschool, I had the Wednesday class, which was where you would meet up. in Cubao, to study together, and then that's where I met some of my best friends that I'm still friends to with this day, with to this day. um, but during field, since I left Wednesday class and I didn't have Wednesday class for 2 years, um, field trips is where I met more people. So field trips are definitely like fun and unforgettable.
Okay, so just to better explain, Andy was enrolled in Catholic Filipino Academy Homeschool, where she opted to have a Wednesday class. So meaning every Wednesday she go to Cubao and meet her classmates, and they have field trips on that school year. But of course, because of pandemic, for this school year, CFA Homeschool have their activities online virtually. Of course, we will check if what DepEd or Malacanang will announce. So, but for the meantime, all activities are online. So you missed the field trips.
Oh yeah. The field trips were fun for me because I got to meet new people, even though I wasn't in Wednesday class. Though we didn't have the same connection as I did with the Wednesday class with the people I met in Wednesday class, but it was fun to meet them and befriend them.
That's right. What about experiences with your family? What was the most unforgettable experience you had while homeschooling with your family?
Well, I mean, some unforgettable experiences is when we all have like headaches over math because we all can't understand what we're reading. Because of course they like forgot about the lesson, or it's like a new lesson that they didn't study when they were kids. So parang it was very hard, and we'd all get headaches at the end of the day.
Okay. If someone will ask you, how does homeschooling help you as an individual? What can you tell them?
Well, for me personally, homeschool has helped me better myself. Um, because because I didn't have Wednesday class for 2 years. I decided to focus on like bettering myself, and since I didn't have any influences around me, because I didn't always go to my friends, I didn't always talk to my friends. Um, I didn't have any other influences around me. I created my own influence on myself, which is better, I guess. Because sometimes when you're with other students, their opinions influence your opinions. So sometimes it's not
Mm-hmm.
exactly the right opinion, it's just popular.
Mm-hmm.
So like you get a clear vision of what's right and wrong when you're alone.
Okay. And of course, a lot of junior high school students as well will be enrolling with homeschool provider. So, what tips can you give to these students who will be just starting this coming school year?
Well, practice managing your time. Just that's like the main lesson here. If you want to survive, practice managing your time and then just master it. You'll use it even when you're out of homeschool or you're out of school itself. When you're like working or something, managing your time is going to be the most helpful tool that you're going to learn here.
So, you discussed earlier your schedule, and then you mentioned that you did it on your own with the supervision of your mom. So
Mhm.
when you say manage your time, did you get a lot of time wherein you were able to pursue your other passion like drawing?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's usually given because sometimes you have assignments as we have assignments as drawings, so sometimes that's like helpful to use. It's time to use my passion then, but in free time naman. When we're talking about free time, yeah, I had a little bit of free time, I guess, because sometimes there would be a lot of work which hindi naman maalis because still school.
Mhm.
If I'd have a lot of work, I wouldn't have enough time. But if you manage your time correctly, I guess you'll find a way to put it in there.
So you also mentioned earlier that you have this schedule given by your homeschool provider, which is CFA
Right.
Homeschool. So you have this learning guide. So in this learning guide, can you tell us a bit of how does it look like so you would know your schedule?
Well, it's organized per week. It's more of it's it's not much of a schedule as it is a lesson guide because they basically just say what you need to learn per subject every week and like what you need to finish and the written works and the projects that you need to finish within that week. That's what's written there. And sometimes there are some projects that are still due weeks after. So
Okay.
that's basically what it's a big book.
That's right. So, when you look at your lesson guide, so you would see what materials you need for the entire week, so that you can buy it ahead, and then you would check on when this performance-based assessment needed to be submitted, and also the written works when are this to be submitted, so that you can manage your time.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you upon waking up, I mean, do you usually do your homeschool work immediately, or do you have other things like household chores before you go into homeschooling?
Well, when I wake up, I actually wake up pretty late. um, but I usually just do normal morning stuff before going to school, which is eating, showering. Sometimes I don't, but I take a shower and then start studying until I finish. And then that's when I do like if mom gives me a chore, I'll do it, or sometimes I'll just sit there.
Okay. So, what can you share naman about your family relationship while homeschooling?
Well, something that I have noticed that has changed about my family when I started homeschooling was they didn't have to ask me about what happened within my day anymore, or as often, because they're usually there to see what I'm doing. But sometimes I still tell them what's going on just so they know if I'm having a hard time or if I'm going through the week with no problems at all.
Okay. So, last question, Andy. What was the best thing that you loved about homeschooling?
Well, I guess the best thing is learning how to manage my time. Because I don't think that in regular school they can teach you that. Though I mean, there wasn't like a lesson about time management, but you learn to learn, I guess. uh, it'll just happen when you get the hang of it.
Mhm.
It's gonna be the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Galing, no? So, because you do your own schedule, so you're able to understand as well how to manage your time. So you
Yeah,
can tweak your schedule, you can adjust it, but you still have a schedule because you do
yeah,
have
of course. I always have
a
a
learning
schedule.
guide to follow, and you know when to submit the certain project or the certain written works. And what's also good is you mentioned that your mom check your assignments or your works every week, so parents also have a schedule, so they would tell,
Yeah,
because other parents would ask homeschooling Philippines, how will I check on the work of my children because I'm working. So parents, you just need to set a time, let's say weekend, if that's your availability, no? If you have work from Monday to Friday, so you set time, weekend, and then that's when you can check on the projects, on the essays, or whatever you have given your child. So you still have to have a schedule, but it doesn't mean that uh, it will eat up or you all your Monday to Friday. No,
yeah.
you
It
can
takes like less than an hour to check all of the books. Yeah.
see parents less than an hour lang. Ang galing,
Yeah,
no?
it's not too much time if
Yes,
you can
that's
do
right.
it.
because the bulk of the learning happens within, or because of the student, no, the student will teach his or himself, just like Andy, no, she was able to do it from grade 8 to grade 10. Congratulations, Andy.
Thank
Moving
you.
up, how was your virtual experience when we had the moving up ceremony with CFA Homeschool?
It was fun. You just kept yelling. I didn't even hear my name. We just kept yelling when I saw myself.
Well, congratulations again, and good luck, or
You.
God bless, for your senior high school STEM, right?
Congratulations to you too, Miss Nita.
Yay! Yes. I'm a
You made it.
homeschooling mom. Yes, we made it. So, God bless on your new journey into the
Thank you.
traditional school in senior high. And can we show some of your drawings as well later? You have
Yeah,
given
sure.
me
I mean,
some. So,
I'll look for some. Some that I actually like.
yes, that's right. So we can show them that this is what homeschooling does. I mean, you can follow your passion if you like drawing. Now you have a lot of time to pursue what you really like. In this case for Andy, that's drawing, and parents, magaling siya mag-drawing talaga.
Thank you.
I've seen some of her work. So that's very good. So thank you for your time, Andy.
Thank you for
Thank
interviewing me.
Yes, and I hope we will be still keep in touch kahit nandun
Of
ka na
course.
sa traditional school. And again, thank you for your time. For the viewers of Homeschooling Philippines, keep watching because we have another videos coming up. Again, this is interviewing teenagers who are doing homeschool, so you would know what they feel, what are their thoughts, and so you would know as well what parents can do, because for junior high school, parents are not really teachers talaga, so they parang you will graduate from being a teacher to a facilitator. So just like what you have heard from Andy's story, her mom is only a facilitator to her because grade 8 na siya, she can do it. So I know some of you are afraid into homeschooling, and this is what we would like to share para kahit konti mabawasan yung fears nyo. So we wanted to show the thoughts, no, the thoughts of our teenagers. So again, thank you, Andy, and God bless everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
God bless.